like you saw the tail light hit the ground,
Yeah.
And it was there clear as day.
Spit was flying.
Yeah.
Tail lights falling.
Yeah. And that's when I told the guys, quit driving the trailer that way.
It's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Whenever situations like that come up, I try to remain mostly peaceful.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, welcome to the We Rock podcast.
We're back again.
We're back. Episode number 49.
49.
Yeah. Man, how did we make it this far?
Well, simply because nobody can take it away from us. It's not because just of rousing demand or, stardom or anything like that. It's just because it's ours.
No, yeah. I mean, it's like, you've got equipment at your shop, right? You've got that setting truck. I'm sure it's paid for. You've got a forklift in there somewhere. I'm sure that's all paid for. You know what the bank can't do? They can't take that crap.
Well, they can't take what they can't find either. Yeah. Now are you thawed out yet?
It's funny. I have seen ice still on some roofs. And yesterday we hit 60, but like it starts cold. So the nights are getting cold. But round 2 is this weekend.
Right. Yeah, so, I downloaded this one app called Ice Watch, and I keep reporting it, but nobody comes and removes it. So. I don't know what it's for. I'm going to leave a bad review on it. I keep reporting it. I've got ice in my parking lot, and nothing happens.
I remember coming back. What convention we were riding back together in your truck?
The one from Athens, in that rental truck I had.
In the rental truck, that's right. And we're driving down the road, reporting ice on the road.
Constantly.
It's like we're going to see if we can get kicked off of this.
It was on Waze.
Waze, that's right.
Oh yeah.
I realized though. So actually, it's not funny, but it has been hitting rather a lot around here, and not much has changed. The guys the workers are still doing their work. They're just not doing it in town right now.
Right.
So if you live in the country right now, you can get some really good rates on getting some stuff remodeled at your house.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's it seems like we brought the cold back with us from Baltimore.
Yeah, actually, look, this is not it's not as cold up there as it is down here, but you know what? Humidity does play a big part in that. And,
it does.
I do not feel, I feel like, when we were there in the wind or whatever, it was cold, but walking around this week with the cold, I feel like it is much colder here.
Well, I don't care what anybody says. Whenever it gets cold, it's just cold. I don't care what part of the country you're in. If you're like, oh well, it's not that cold, it's below freezing. It's cold. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, you're not. I still say, look, no human or no living thing is intended to live in those kinds of conditions.
Right.
It's not. You shouldn't live there. God did not ordain the snow, is the other one I say. And we know that because we know where the promised land is. And it doesn't really snow there. So, but no, Baltimore, man, that was a great place.
I had a lot of fun in Baltimore.
I feel like we kind of got to get the better end of that deal, but man, we show up. And they take real good care of us to getting us there. We got to go help with setup, which was fun.
That was I would say it was an eye-opening experience. That it's one of those that, yes, we were in there, we were participating, and we were helping. But sometimes I felt like we might have been in the way just because there was a lot of people in there, and we tried to pitch in where we could, but. for those of you that didn't go, the convention hall was on the second floor. And the only way to get the stones up since it was a full display convention, the only way to get the stones up there was a service elevator and then hand carts or hand trucks or whatever you'd like to call it.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of setting being done by hand. And it was honestly a lot of fun to be around a bunch of other people that do what we do. And everybody has their own little tricks. And it was neat to see how some people do it. And sometimes you'd see a hybrid of some people's ideas coming together. And then sometimes we were still just in the way. And
yeah, I kind of felt like, and I need to find this song because it does it so much better. But you remember like the old comedian Benny Hill, whenever he would run around and like that tune is kind of like, yeah. Well, like we're in that way kind of way, it's just
yeah.
But it's great to work with other people and get your eyes on how they do things. See how things work. Of course, we talked about that on the last one.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was even neat to see some of the handmade tools that people were using to set.
Yep.
Especially for setting P5 dies. There's a whole myriad of ways that people do it, and they did have those polish bars there that have the cantilevered clamps. So you can set that way. But then that one guy had made that one piece that had that thin lip on it for lifting up and pull your setting stick out. And then whenever you set down, that lip is thinner than the cushion it sets on. So no pressure ends up on the corner of that stone anymore.
I was highly impressed. If you noticed all those stones that we put in there, not a one of them slammed the die straight directly down to the base while pulling the bar out across the face of the polish.
No, it was confirmed that none of the setting crews there got a cameo in Landman.
No, yeah, we did our due diligence to make sure that was that those guys were not the ones that did that installation. It's God, that was messed up. But no, I mean, watching everybody do the installs, and correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so you had all those guys there. Nate had his whole crew there, and you saw all of that there. And we walked in there at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's about the time they started letting the vendors come in to set up their booths. Like the stones were supposed to be set up, and the vendors were able to come set up their tables and bring all their tchotchke stuff that they hand out and hang their banners and all that other stuff. And I swear, I look up and I go, oh, this isn't getting done. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Everybody's on top of each other. There's not room to breathe. We're over in Salem's booth dropping their stuff.
Yeah, we were working on a lighthouse at the moment.
Yep. I kept harassing Bill and saying, oh, look, I scratched it.
Just trying to get the scratching in special.
Yeah. But no, it was they knocked it all out, kind of like we said on the last episode. 8:15, they were rolling to their rooms. They were done.
Yeah, they worked their tails off. There's no doubt. And I'm the same as you. There was a point I was thinking, how is this going to come together? And then just poof.
Yeah. So we had but we of course we did our due diligence in the morning, and we played a little bit that afternoon. Kind of went and grabbed some lunch elsewhere because pizza wasn't it. No offense to them or whatever. My stomach doesn't do pizza as well as it used to.
No, sir.
And then, of course, we had to venture off. We're in a historic town, and we ventured off to go to see the birthplace of Babe Ruth, the great Bambino.
And I almost feel kind of ashamed to say, as much of a baseball nut as I am, that I failed to realize that he was born in Baltimore or even played for Baltimore for a stint.
I did too. I mean, you automatically know about the Red Sox, and you know about the Yankees, obviously. I didn't realize. I'm like, everybody sits there and talk about the curse of the Bambino because he left the Sox. I'm like, nobody's talked about him leaving Baltimore. Who should be more pissed?
Right.
Orioles fans should be ticked. So
that was a neat place to go. Of course, being that it's the birthplace of Babe Ruth and it's the small home that he was born in.
And it is like 2 blocks. I don't even know it was 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It like you round the corner from his house, go up to the light, and you can see Camden Yards. Is that the original spot for Camden?
I do not know. That stadium was built back in the 90s, and I do not know where the stadium was in Baltimore prior to that.
But for it to be that close is insane. I would have never guessed that either.
Yeah, that's some obvious like universal like foreshadowing of what was to come.
Yeah. So no, it's a cool place.
It was.
Got to see the called shot ball.
That was probably the coolest thing in that place was the actual ball from the called shot.
Yep. I remember because like we walked around. I didn't see it at first or whatever. We saw a ball in the case or whatever. Didn't read the sign, and then said we walked around, saw the little video they showed of the called shot, and talked about whether or not it was legit or not, how it all went and whatnot. And then I was like, man, it'd be cool if they had the ball, or I wonder where the ball is or something, and walk around the corner, and sure enough, that's where it is. I say this within 3 feet of the daggum ball.
Right.
So
that's just how intently you were paying attention to everything in the museum. Your eyes had just not made it to that spot yet.
I hadn't quite read that yet. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, that was pretty cool. It's cool to go see Camden Yards. Unfortunately, we missed making it into the shop by 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. 2 minutes. It might have been 4, but 2 minutes.
Well, the main part of wanting to go in there was, of course, just to go in there and maybe get a little bit of, an Orioles hat or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. But also it was to find a bathroom. And we had to venture out and tried another location that we promptly left.
Yeah.
And
the other location lacked a certain je ne sais quoi about it.
And we're not saying you were looking for bougie.
No, I think we were more so looking for a place that we weren't going to get arrested for relieving ourselves
or stabbed.
I think that was the bare minimum threshold in which we were looking to do was not out in open air.
Uh-huh.
And so we found this location. I didn't realize that, again, this is another downtown where they let skunks run free.
There was a skunk problem. I never saw one, but I could smell it quite often.
And they had to have gotten one loose inside that building.
Mm-hmm. The moment we stepped foot in that building, I said to myself, we are in the wrong daggum spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely out of the norm for what typically is inside that room. Mm-hmm. And what I mean is, how do I put it? We have a much lower population where we live. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, man. It was rough. So somebody immediately hooked an Uber.
Oh, yeah.
So that we could get out of there.
Really good find.
Yeah. But man, good time that we got. The next day was of course, if y'all looked on our page, y'all saw that we tried to do the live feed in there. We struggled with some of the audio things and some issues, so we tried to battle that. Most of it, you'll see that we were trying to have conversations as best we could while battling audio and battling video. It didn't work out as well as planned.
Yeah, which it's a learning experience. We know better what to do next time.
Yeah. So, but man, great show, great folks. Mm-hmm. Get it on your schedule for 2028.
We'll be in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Venue change to Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And my understanding is there's going to be a brown theme.
Go tour the chocolate factory.
Yeah. So, but no, it's supposed to be a super beautiful place. I think my wife has been there once for a field trip when she lived in Virginia.
Oh, sweet.
So
They say if the wind's just right there, it smells like chocolate.
It's funny. Whenever I first moved to College Station, the first place I lived, if the wind was just right, it smelled like something similar looked to chocolate, but not chocolate.
That's what. Well, it depends upon what you're talking about. Are you talking about a feedlot or a treatment plant?
Treatment plant.
Yeah. Then I was going to say if it was a feedlot, we say that smells like money.
No. This was not money. However, I do know somebody that used to work for the city and kind of maintain those things. And apparently there's some things that don't break down when it goes through those plants. One of them is pot and the other is tomato seeds. And they will get tomatoes to grow out in their drying fields that are every bit of 12 inches in diameter.
Very well fertilized.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm the same as you, man. Baltimore, it was a lot of fun, great people, and this being our second trip up north in the capacity that we were invited up to go do it. That again, we like to sit here down in Texas and through the South and just wear our arms out, patting ourselves on the back about Southern hospitality and whatnot. But again, those Yankees, they're great people.
Yeah, they are.
They roll out the carpet.
It was funny because Anthony said to me whatever said I was harassing him if you remember about Yankees.
Yep.
And he goes, "You keep calling us Yankees," and I go, "Well, you are, but I didn't call you a damn Yankee." And there's a difference.
There is a stark difference.
But Anthony was great. We got to have lunch with him later on and talk about a lot of cool stuff. He's such a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And can't beat that. Girardi I don't know why he took us to dinner, but took us to dinner. But Mark Girardi's phenomenal individual.
Mm-hmm.
Good show.
And I said it before, and I'll continue to say it until I run out of breath. But for those of you that have not been to any of these northern conventions that are just specific to the northern regions, you are severely missing out. Not just on a great time, but an opportunity to meet a whole nother group of people in this industry.
And here's the thing. I think the deal would be let's cross-platform this and just say, if you're in the north, come south. If you're in the south, go north. Let's bridge this divide and start going over. I don't want to hear this garbage about it's cold up north when we go up there, blah blah blah. You're going to be inside the whole time. You don't have to leave.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You're not the one out there installing anyway. And the same thing for those of y'all up north, man. Come down to the south and enjoy. We'll take care of you, and show you a good time. Typically we try to do them in great cities that are known for entertainment. So come on down and enjoy time with us, and we do our best. We're just a bunch of hayseed folks, but and I know the statement's always that you can't go because that's you only so many months you can do installs. Don't lie to me. I know good and well that those of you who can and run the business aren't the ones on the set truck.
Mm-hmm.
Show up. And it's not like you don't know how to reschedule stuff. Move your schedule around, make it happen. Come down for one. I think once we all kind of really bridge these gaps and start, getting past all this stuff, we can all work together a heck of a lot better and actually affect change, not just for us as businesses, but for the families we serve, making things easier for us as we get into cemetery issues. and understanding other principal ways on how we're going to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and just like down to us as retailers, that a lot of us that are through the South, we're doing business with places in Elberton, Oklahoma, places, like that. And of course, people up in the North, they tend to gravitate more towards Vermont. And I understand the regional differences and people say that the reason that they won't do business that far is because it costs so much to truck it. But like I was talking to some of the suppliers from Vermont, talking about doing some things with them that I told them, I said, I'm not going to be ordering my bread and butter items from y'all. It's going to be specialty pieces, things that Barry is known for. And, the idea that you have to choose between Elberton and Barry is one of the most limiting myths, in my opinion, in this industry.
Yeah.
That that both places produce exceptional granite, both have skilled craftsmen, legacy level work, but they excel in different ways. Elberton, nobody can match the scale of Elberton. Elberton's just they're big on the mass side of the scale, but like Barry, it brings a depth of artistry. There is generations deep talent of stone sculptors in that area.
Oh yeah. So, but I mean, it's what you're getting out of Barry is a tradition that was built on Italian carvers. We're not just talking about, yes, they know how to manufacture. They know how to manufacture well. They do it very well. But there's a lot of those old school Italian carvers that kind of got their start there, right? Mm-hmm. Or not got their start, but basically came over to create that thing. So yeah, I've said for a long time, there's a handful of places in this country that you can get anything you can imagine produced, right? And you can find companies in Barry, in Elberton. Of course, there's Cold Spring in Dakota as well. Domestically, you can find companies that are producing anything you want.
Yeah.
So yes, and that doesn't mean to shy away from the importers as well.
Right.
There, you have no excuse for poor quality in what you're producing, except for that you don't care.
That's it.
And you can come at me and say, well, my customers can't afford it. They can afford quality. You're going to have to change the idea of what they're working with. It may have to be smaller, but they can afford quality. Quality it's all scalable.
Oh, definitely so. And it even comes down just to your own shop and just the inner workings of your shop. Just a couple of weeks ago, Ronnie that works for me, he had drawn up a design for a lady that I myself was not terribly impressed with it, but Ronnie said she was absolutely in love with it. And I told him, I said, well, now draw her something that she's really going to love, because she loves what you've shown her. And I said, push yourself, try to take that extra step, think outside the box. And of course it was just on a 200620 gray upright. And I told him, I said, you keep giving yourself this panel mindset that you have to have a panel. I said, think of different ways to go about it. There doesn't have to be a panel that follows the contour of the cirque. There doesn't. Think of something different. Literally, think outside the box for once. Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind that it's a canvas. You're able to do anything. I had to come to the realization a long time ago that that stone was not just a canvas. That's usually the statement I use to look at it that way. But we keep seeing all these standard, designs with panels and and we call that traditional, and we go, oh, it's a traditional monument. No, it's not. It's been around since the 50s. The monument industry has been like one of the oldest industries on the face of this planet. And we're like, oh, that's traditional. That's not traditional. It's still fairly new. It's lazy. It's lazy traditional. You go and you look at it and you go, there were guys carving actual things from scratch 100 years ago. Phenomenal pieces of art that were, and you would have called those traditional. And then we kind of go, just kind of, all right, we'll just do this. Get out of it as much as we can. That doesn't mean you can't do that. I'm not going to sit here and go, don't do that anymore. What I mean is, don't pigeonhole yourself that's all you ever do. That's it.
Well, and just like you and I were having the conversation yesterday, that you look at the work that comes out of China and India, especially the sculpture work, and for the most part, a lot of it is very exceptional work. There is a very small handful of us here in the United States that are even capable of doing something like that. And if you yourself were capable of doing something like that, you would have godlike level status in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
But there is some random person in China that we'll never know their name, and they're turning out how many of those a month?
But I even said this to you yesterday, because the problem is that people think they know who the best is or the greatest is or any of that stuff. And they've got their list. I've got my list of who I think the top designers are. And those lists are going to vary based upon your opinions of what you like. But on my list of top designers, I've got a handful of them, and most people will have never heard of some of them.
Correct.
Right. One of them is Monica Johns. A lot of people know Monica because she gets involved in a lot of stuff. Her brother's Mike Johns, and John Scarabelli's work's been seen for ages because the John Scarabelli shop has done some amazing things historically over time. They're the ones who did the John D. Rockefeller obelisk. Yeah. So they've done amazing work from the jump. Mm-hmm. So, but Monica's a phenomenal designer. One that is one of my absolute favorites is Terry Joy from Lexington, Kentucky, Joy Monument. Absolutely. And Terry is super cool, very nice guy, but quiet. He's not really interested in I don't mean to be like he's not a people person. He just he's not a crowd guy, right? He wants chill, and but he's a super awesome guy. One of my favorite people to hang around with and talk shop with. Great designer, Bran Oswald. A lot of people know who Bran Oswald is, but they only know, a lot of them just know his stuff. Phenomenal designer. Mm-hmm. But one that I told you about yesterday that nobody knows the name of, and I don't know if you knew his name until I brought it up.
I did not.
His name is Dan Bellin, and Dan Bellin is just phenomenal. And so you kind of have to decide where your bar is. And for me, it has been guys like Terry Joy and Monica John and Dan Bellin, Bran Oswald, but even, may rest in peace, Scott Lucan, because for Scott wasn't just a designer. He was a sculptor. We use stone carver for guys who can break rock like myself. I'm not a sculptor. I can break rock. I can do some pretty things or whatever. I know how to use the tools or whatever. I know how to texture things. Scott sculpted rock. He's a phenomenal carver and would do amazing things with it, but he would design it as well. And man, that if you have to set the bar as to this is what you want to be and chase it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how we've been for us. So yeah, that's my soapbox for that, I guess. But yeah, know that there's quality out there. You can learn to do it. There's ways and avenues to do better work. That doesn't mean that,
Well, and the main thing is the only barrier that's prohibiting somebody that is, I would say, maybe stuck in a rut or something like that, or is not really doing any design work. The only barrier is themselves. Yeah. All of us are capable of learning it. It's just a matter of how bad you want to learn it. And
the barrier is the excuses.
Absolutely it is. And if anything, if all you're doing is selling from a book and all you're doing is changing out names, dates, maybe swapping out crosses for praying hands or something, stop. I
think that the place to start would be, I think, and I understand that because I agree with that, but I think that the place to start is the place where you go, I'm sick and tired of doing these praying hands here. I'm sick and tired of doing this double outline panel this way. I'm sick and tired of these roses we see all the time. I'm tired of looking at them, right? Pick one of them and start there.
Right.
I'm not saying Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to do all of it. Exactly. I can't build my of course that what was it? The extreme home makeover is gone. So I can't, we're not building houses in a week anymore.
Right.
But what we can do is we can control what's in front of us. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it means simply changing the font. Heck, I changed the line weights of our panels because I got tired of looking at the line weight. Mm-hmm. Just simple.
And the way I've told people I've done it before is whenever I finally hit that aha moment, that self-realization of I need to step up my game, as I started looking at people's work that I considered to be exceptional work, and I would copy and paste a picture of it into CorelDRAW and I would replicate it, not replicate it for sale, but just to understand what it takes to start designing like that, start drawing like that. And then after a while, you develop your own patterns, your own tricks of how to draw different things. And it just puts your mind in a whole different set to where you finally get away from the structure that you have to have 3 panels, 2 things on the corners, done, over.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things that kind of got me started in some of this stuff is like, I didn't like the roses floating in the corners or the crosses floating in the corners or the stickers. It started to look to me like when we were kids and you would get the sheet of stickers, right? And so you'd stick them all over your binder or your dresser, and there was no real room or rhyme or reason to any of it. It's just chaos. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like it. And it bothered me. So I would start to connect them to other details, right? Typically what you see a lot of times, DMart's really good about it, where they will connect it to the name panel that follows the shape of the stone and or a ribbon or whatever. So it's not just floating. It actually has some substance to what it's doing. And I would connect it to the sides of the die or the name panels below, those kind of things. I would connect the name panels below so there were one panel. And my philosophy on that was this, is like, it's a couple. It's a married couple, but there's no unity in 2 panels, right?
Right.
Do they sleep in separate beds, or do they have a bed?
It depends upon.
Right. How old is this? 1950. Right. So yeah, I mean, if it's one bed, right? Why isn't it one panel for both sets of names? And so, or
even not just making it one panel, but why is there not anything connecting them? And something like that, that's just basic symbolism that carries a lot of weight to it.
And one of the things that I'm notorious about here is I got real sick and tired of families coming in, and it stopped. It's crazy. It used to happen all the time. It does not happen any longer. But the bonded rings that you would engrave on the stone. One, I don't like bonded rings that are frosted. Because I don't know about you.
Shiny.
Yeah. Rings are shiny. But 2, the bonded rings, everybody would always want their wedding date on the inside of the ring. Mm-hmm. I understand the premise of it, but 12 inches, that's the minimum size you're going to need for those rings now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So on a 4x6x2, or 4x6x2. Mm-hmm. You now have taken up width-wise 25% of that stone with those bonded rings. Mm-hmm. And so my question to families was that day, was your wedding day, the most important day of your life? Was it the whole focus of your life, or was that the start of your life?
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be bigger things that meant more. And I don't mean because the wedding day didn't mean anything, but throughout your life, there were events. And I always kind of look at, even for like my wedding day, I truly love my wife on my wedding day. But I will say that I did not love my wife on my wedding day, and this may get me in trouble.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
The way I love her now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same thing my dad told me whenever I was getting married. He said, "Son, do you love her?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm marrying her." And he said, "No." He said, "You don't love her. You don't love her yet." He said, "You just like her a lot." Mm-hmm. And he said, "Wait until those moments come down the road." He said, "Then you'll find out you love her."
Yeah, when the moments get tough and you'll see how things go, then you'll know. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of it. Is that, is that day the focus of your entire life, or is that day the start? So what I started doing is, instead of doing that, is I would move that wedding date in some little simple rings, just some little outline rings up beneath the family name. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like it looked like the stereo. For you'll understand this. Some of our listeners that are up north or in more urban areas may not get it. It felt like the ranch signs that we're familiar with here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for those of y'all who don't know, in Texas, it's pretty common for your driveway, the entrance to your property. If you have a ranch, you have a gate there, and it can be a big gate, a big fancy gate, or it can be a small gate. But what you end up typically seeing is over the sign will have the ranch name, and then underneath it is an established date.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I would treat that wedding date as, is the establishment date of that family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way we did it.
Yep. I agree with
And
that.
I've done more of those now than I have done bonded rings.
Mm-hmm. And if you are doing the bonded rings, and there's nothing wrong with doing them, even if you're frosting them, and I do it too, but make sure whenever you're in the frosting process that you are leaving stencil where it needs to be left, so you're not frosting the inside of those rings that was
oh gosh,
open
yes,
space.
Yes, no, that I think that may be a bigger. That's like I did not care. And look, I'm not saying you can't do the bonded rings. I'm just saying I'm pointing out the things that were my pet peeves, the things that drove me nuts to try to push to do something a little different. Mm-hmm. And so yours, it maybe did come something else, and that's fine. Find what that is and start changing it. Find another way to do it. So,
yeah, I mean, because if we all thought the same way, it'd be a very boring world. Well, there needs to be at least some differing opinions out there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's try something else, because the wheel isn't going to reinvent itself.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Even if you try something and it doesn't work, just consider it an education.
Yeah. What's funny is this was for those of y'all who are following along. This was actually not the planned topic. We just went off on a tangent for a very long time and enjoyed it. So
I was figuring out how to parlay into the next topic. Do we?
That's what I did. That's what I'm doing right now.
Just do a hard stop.
I just pulled the e-brake.
Yeah, we left that topic a few miles back. Let's go back and get it.
It's like, you ever driven down the road and seen a perfectly good ladder on the side of the road?
Oh man, I do that for everything. Like, man, you see that ratchet strap back there?
That's a perfectly good ratchet strap. It's only been run over 50 times. It's good.
Right. As long as it still halfway works, I'm happy.
Hey, I have several water keys for the same reason.
Right.
It's been, I'll have noticed it's been sitting there in that box for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like somebody forgot it. I don't know who.
Yep.
So
no, next topic.
Yeah, what we were going to talk about is some of our favorite customers, and I use that with a lot of sarcasm, and some of the issues that we're seeing now in the cemeteries, because you and I are, I think, seeing some of the stuff. I'm curious if other people around the country are seeing it too.
Oh, definitely so.
But it seems as though not only do customers now think that they kind of own your schedule completely, but so do the cemeteries.
Yes.
So
and trying to make both of those work whenever they both claim that they have ownership over it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, to put it very lightly.
Well, and yours is a little different than mine, because I didn't have this direct issue that you're dealing with. But I have had the issue this week where we're running into, and then not just this week. I mean, it's been over the last, really year. The more rural cemeteries we're running into are wanting to be present when we're doing installs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cemeteries we've been in before, and some of them have changed leadership. But a lot of times they're changing the rule formats, and we haven't changed our process. We didn't start doing halfway work. We didn't, start cussing out cemetery employees while leaving or making their lives more difficult, any of that.
And unfortunately, in some of those situations, I think that you're just having to pay for the sins of others.
I think that's right. I think there's other companies, and I think that a lot of people are seeing some of this, where there's fly-by nights all over the country right now that are just kind of doing whatever they want to do. And forced installs is a big part of it. Some of these guys are just going out there doing forced installs and not getting in touch with the cemetery. Usually it's to get away from paying setting fees and permit fees and those kind of things.
Which is why so many cemeteries in their rules dictate that you can only set during the work week. That weekends you are not allowed to, which is what I ran into.
Right. And so for us, they're like, I've got stuff that's got to go, north. I've got stuff that's got to go south. And you're like, well, we can only meet you on this day. Mm-hmm. And this is the block. I'm like, this is like, I don't think you understand. You are not the only cemetery we serve. Mm-hmm. Like and I've used this number for a while because I can't determine if I'm off, but I tend to think there's about 1,000 cemeteries within 90 miles of here.
I wouldn't doubt it. And of course, some of those cemeteries are ones that there may not be a burial in for the next quarter century.
Correct. And so if I'm asked, and we've all run into those where you've got to go and you better take a weed eater with you, because it hasn't, it's a jungle to get to it. Mm-hmm. But those are the more rare ones, but you still go like, why am I having to meet you out? Do you not have flags? I will send you flags.
I've done that for cemeteries before. And I think we talked about it in a previous episode to where I think the same thing happened to you that happened to me. It was whenever I supplied them with flags, all of a sudden they were using my flags to mark water lines and everything of the such.
I love it. Yeah. Just sitting there going like all of a sudden, like they're marking a monument for somebody else and it's got my flags on it.
Yep.
This is future home of a monument by Watson Monument. But no, I mean, having to get stuff marked is a part of it. I want the cemetery to mark it so that I know that it's correct by their standard. I know that
to leave me alone.
I want exactly. I don't need them standing there while I'm trying to do this.
No.
And it doesn't do them any good. It slows me down. Mm-hmm. But I do agree. I think that it is due to other people creating issues.
Right.
And, just because you think you're, how do I put this politely? Stop thinking you're Billy Badass and trying to show up to the cemetery and do it your way because you think you've outsmarted the key.
Correct.
In most of these cases that I'm hearing, and I'm not going to call one of them out by name, but I'll give you an example. There was a shop that does a lot of hype advertising on Facebook that's out of Houston. And they advertise, we'll go anywhere, and we're changing the game, blah, 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 all that kind of fun stuff.
Game changers. I love game changers.
Oh, yeah. And I love whenever somebody says we're changing the game. I'm like, man, son, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Suck it up. You hadn't even started to stride yet. No. So, but it's one of those guys that's coming around doing that, and they're showing up, setting stuff in the middle of the night or on when nobody's around and not getting the stuff marked. So it's not straight. They're not pulling strings to make sure it's correct. They're not really setting stuff. My favorite is whenever they go, we pin everything, and the pin's like 1.5 inches tall. And like,
they're not wrong.
Yeah, it's got a pin in it. Mm-hmm. It's also like a 1/4 inch pin. I think I've seen studs on the back of bronze markers thicker than some of these things. And you're like, it doesn't do anything. Yes, it may stop it from sliding, but if that thing were to lean, it's going to clear that pin. Mm-hmm. So it's the same kind of groups of people, and what they're doing is they're making it difficult because now these cemeteries have to set new rules that the rest of us have to deal with, but they're still not doing them. Right.
Yeah, and of course the issues also extend to the corporate-owned cemeteries that most of us are familiar with. That, of course, there's a particular giant out there that all of us know real well, and I happen to have one of those across the road from me. And I'll just go ahead and name them. Of course, it's an SCI-owned firm, and I think SCI itself gets a bad rap. I don't think it's a bad company.
No,
I just think that whenever unfortunately, they do have a lot of employee turnover.
I think that's it. I think you're right. It's a very large publicly traded company.
Yes.
And they have a lot of employees. Well, they can't manage all of them. No. And
so you'll get a few wildcats in there every now and then that they all of a sudden decide they're going to institute their own agenda.
And I'll say this, I mean, just so that everybody's clear, he and I have had this conversation for a long time. I've got SCI cemeteries that we serve directly as their source for certain stones. And they've been nothing but phenomenal. No issues, no problems whatsoever. They're great. They pay on time. The people that we're dealing with are great. That doesn't mean that I have not run into other separate SCI cemeteries that have given us some kind of flack for things. But, you know, it's the people. It's that particular individual you're dealing with at that time. It's not the company.
Oh, yeah. And I can say that SCI made this whole situation whole with me. And that individual, he had instituted a new policy in the cemetery that only the cemetery was allowed to sell benches, that no outside vendor was allowed to. And of course, any of you that have just read 5 minutes worth of any antitrust law understand that you cannot restrict free trade like that. And I followed up with him 2 or 3 more times just to make sure I was hearing what I was hearing. And of course, this is about the 5th manager that I've been through over there, and every single one of them has given me trouble in some shape, form, or fashion. So rather than just going back to a manager and not really getting any resolution or something, just getting swept under the rug, this time I went directly to SCI Corporate. I went on their website. I found their employee handbook. It's honestly pretty easy to find if you know where you're looking. And it tells exactly what SCI employees can and can't do whenever it relates to third-party vendors. And they also have extensive language in there talking about how they cannot be in violation of any antitrust, fair trade practices, anything like that. And I sent a certified letter and also an email to SCI. And, of course, it's a large corporation. It takes a while for the wheels to get spinning there. Almost 3 weeks later, I finally got a reply, and they told me that I am more than welcome to sell benches in their cemetery, and that they apologize for any confusion, and they have trained their employees on the situation, and if they had any questions, to give them a call.
Yeah, and I find more often than not, their leadership is super reasonable.
Yes,
absolutely. You know, one of the ones that really surprised me the most was, I was that kind of headstrong guy before I really got to know a lot of them. Paul DiMatteo talks about having met with one, and he was running ads about something, and about, you know, trusting the local monument guy and blah 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 blah. He tells the story much better because that's what DiMatteo does. But he was at the golf course. They were at I guess they were both members of the same club. They're the regional manager for SDI there, as well as himself. And the guy calls DiMatteo over and says, "Hey, come over here." And DiMatteo says, "Hey, man, business is business." And I agree wholeheartedly with that. But no, I mean, it became a relationship where they kind of changed the style of how things were going, and Paul began to be able to help them out.
Yes.
And so even with the one that we serve, they reached out to me the other day wanting me to adjust their display and get them some other ideas. And I said, look, I said, if you're wanting to do this, you know, where y'all are at is a very affluent area. I said, let's get you a big, nice Cadillac piece out there that just shows.
Yes.
And they're like, love it. Let's do it. Okay. Let's also do, we'll do some middle ground stuff and so some standard things or whatever, and get you some color samples, those kind of things.
Right.
And I'm like, let's get you set up for success instead of us trying to nickel and dime and find all this stuff. But if I can get them things that make them successful and help them serve those families man, I think we can all be on the same page.
Well, and like with my situation, one thing that I would like to really highlight to people out there, because I've had people tell me about their experiences with different corporate owned cemeteries. And I'm not talking just specifically about SCI, but any corporate cemetery that if you are having trouble with them, everybody, for some reason, their mind almost automatically goes to that I have to do something legally here. I have to go the legal route. And I'm telling you that I did everything that I did without having one single lawyer involved. I never threatened. I just sought clarification. And like I said, my situation was made whole, and it was just done on just reaching out to them and wanting to have a conversation and being reasonable with them. Now, and now, of course, if something ever dips into the area that it's just absolutely blatant and egregious, now then you proceed however you think you need to proceed with that. But try the diplomatic route first.
Yeah. No, don't just immediately jump to worst case scenario.
Because at the end of the day, they're still just people the way you are. And a lot of times people most often will be reasonable, unless that some individual just happens to have an agenda against you. And then, like I said, you deal with that however you think you need to.
Yeah. So it's an interesting bit of stuff that's going on with some of these cemeteries, and I understand things will change. What do they always say is that the only thing constant is that things change.
Exactly.
Or the more things change, the more they stay the same. The same absolute scenario.
Oh yeah. It's funny. We deal with this one small town cemetery that it's in Oklahoma. And that right there might highlight some of the issues with it, just based upon where it's at. Not say anything to my friends in Oklahoma, but you know where you live. But this town's so small that you have to literally walk to the edge of town to change your mind, because it's too small to change it in town. And for the longest time, they had just a $10 setting fee, nothing big at all. And my guys went to set a headstone there one day, and all of a sudden it's $100 or $150 or something like that. And we told them, I said, well, we weren't aware of that whenever we sold the headstone, because the headstone was sold months prior, and it was sold with the idea that there was going to be a $10 setting fee, which, to tell you the truth, I was never even charging the families at $10 because it's just $10. But whenever you start going into hundreds of dollars, that's a different situation. But we said, we think at least this one should be grandfathered in, and they refused to grandfather it in. And we said, well, we never had any notice whatsoever. There was never a phone call, no emails, nothing. And they said, we put it in our local paper. Well, I'm sorry, I don't get your local paper in little BFE, Oklahoma. Sorry, I didn't see it sitting next to the Wall Street Journal or the Dallas Morning News or anything like that, which neither one of those publications I read either. But part of you wants to, because she got a little snippy with it, and part of you wants to say, I'm sorry, I missed it between the A honor roll and the senior menu for that week. Missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, was it biscuits or rolls that week? For the senior menu.
I looked over that one too.
Oh man. So you don't even know if it was tapioca or not.
Well, that's on there. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, if there's not notice, there's not notice. How are you supposed to? What's the circulation of this daggum paper?
Probably about 10 people, and there's probably more cows than people.
And maybe more cats for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's just all I want is for people to think. I don't feel like I'm asking too much.
You are. The fact that you're sitting here saying that there's some sliver of hope and faith in humanity is troubling to me. I lost faith in humanity so long ago that I still look both ways whenever I turn on a one-way street.
You're not wrong though. We had to have a discussion, as we're going through, we're starting to try to teach James how to drive a little bit and so here and there. And so I'm explaining things as we go on trips and ride and stuff like that. Like, he was like saying something about, looking both ways whenever you go through a green light. And I'm like, James, I have seen plenty of people run red lights, and the motorcycle guy in me, it does not matter when I go through what intersection or what crossroad comes up on it. I'm constantly looking at those other vehicles. If I'm coming up on another road and not even if there's a car there, I want to look and see if there's a car coming. But if the car is sitting there, I'm looking at the wheels on that car to see if they're rolling.
Oh yeah, you may have the right of way, but you may not be right.
It's the same statement I made a long time ago about pedestrians. You may have the right of way on that sidewalk or crossing that road, but you know what you don't have? You do not have the weight, and you do not have the force.
It's just not long after my wife and I were married, she rode somewhere with my sister, and my sister comes up to a red light and just turns right. And cars are coming. And my wife was thinking that, she told me later, she said, I thought we were about to die. And my dad happened to be with them too. And he said, what are you doing? You didn't stop. She said, well, you can go right on red. After a stop. See, what you should have done, since you said you were talking about teaching James to drive, is that whenever the icy conditions were in town, that's the perfect time to take him out. And let him start learning, just take him out in an empty parking lot, which of course you have campus there. So you're going to have plenty of room.
Yeah. No, I sent you videos of what the kids were doing on campus.
Right.
That was, there was a lot of sliding behind vehicles going on around here. And what was I going to take? Was I supposed to take them out in my truck or
absolutely.
Emily's car?
It's the safest option. Well, it's kind of like this one day I sent to a cousin of mine that's from the same part of the world I am. It said, you either fear winter driving or your dad said putting it in the ditch is the only way to learn.
Hey, there's a statement made amongst motorcycle riders that's not far off. And there's two types of riders in this world. Those who've gone down and those who will go down.
Mm-hmm. And watch out for the grass clippings.
Man. So yeah, it's it's interesting. Of course, I still like the call that you got from the customer wanting to be there for the install.
Oh yeah, now that one, it just to fill everybody in, just so they know, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but customer.
You're absolutely wrong, by the way, because you don't own your own time.
I'm. It's a fault of mine, I know. But she had wanted a headstone it's been ready for a good amount of time, and she wanted it set on a certain date. I had to put my truck in the shop for an unforeseen mechanical issue that I was having to deal with, and so we had to postpone that. So we try to get back with her, and then don't hear from her for a little bit, and then I messaged her again, said, hey, just let me know what date will work best for you so you can be there, since you've requested to be there whenever we set the headstone. And she messages me and says, I want Saturday at 9 a.m. And I didn't see the email right off the top. And so she sends the exact same email on the very same day. And I replied back to her and I said, we're open Monday through Friday. We do not do setting or work on weekends. And so just let me know what day will work best for you during the work week, and we'll get that scheduled out for you. She emails me today and tells me how disappointed she is because we came highly recommended, and that whenever I told her to pick a day and she picked a day and I told her that we couldn't do that day, how upset she was with me that we wouldn't do that. And that she thinks now that whenever she finally picks a day that's during the work week, I will give her some excuse of why we can't do it. And my thoughts on that is, she told me that only a weekend would work for her because she works Monday through Friday. So
when do you work?
Yeah, we work Monday through Friday and we're off on the weekends. So why is your weekend more valuable than ours?
Well, I want to know. So, I mean, here's when we talked about this, the question I asked is two different things. How many attorneys have you heard of that are open on weekends? That may not be fair because they've got professional degrees, professional office. So let's pick a different one.
I'm not a plumber.
Okay, right. What about a dentist? Okay, in emergency situations they may open it up and there's a cost, but okay, you're also not a dentist. You don't have a PhD or a doctorate. So okay, let's see. If I call my accountant, I don't think they're open on the weekends.
No.
Okay, here's probably a more realistic, common setup. If I buy furniture, do they deliver the furniture on the weekends?
I've never had any delivered on a weekend.
I mean, I can only think of one place that does it, and that guy will save you money out of Houston.
Yeah, but
everybody knows Mattress Mac.
But did you demand it be set or not set? Did you demand it be delivered on the weekend?
No, because I have couth. Let me back up. I have couth with people I don't know.
That's very, very well said. That's very well said. Well, it's like I told you that, of course, after you get that email and I type out an email and then I backspace it all out. I type it again. I backspace it all out. And I'm trying to think. And of course, thank goodness we live in the era of ChatGPT. And that's what crafted my response to her, which was a very professional response, just telling her, sorry if I did not make it clear, yada, yada, yada. But again, just it's like I told you that after those, that's whenever I'll put my AirPods in and I listen to my screamy music.
Yep. So
yep.
No, it's I don't know. It takes all kinds. I'm really tired of the demanding of my time and demanding how things get done. I think more than anything, I'm tired of the people who've made my job more difficult because they won't do their job.
Yeah. And you're not asking for a lot.
No. I'm not even asking for my standard.
Oh, no, I like that one.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on?
No, I've got an audience sitting in front of me now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's let me see here.
Oh man, look at that.
Yep.
Hey, that's a nice beanie that guy's got on right there.
He said nice beanie. Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah.
It was the beanie that somehow he found wedged into a load of granite that we got.
Man, that's rather bizarre. Man, that's a nice beanie too.
Since it's got cold, I will say he legit wears that almost every day.
Man, it's comfortable. So I hope he wears it around your customers.
He does. Yeah, he says he just tells people he found it at a thrift store.
Estate sale.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Well, we got to brave the cold weathers this weekend, so we'll see how this goes. And fortunately, I think this is the first weekend we've got off in a while, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that Wes is sitting here now because, of course, Wes used to work here, and now he works for the Texas Department of Transportation. So, if the road,
he works for the government,
and and you had a complaint about the roads, it is this man's fault right here.
Absolutely. I mean, my roads were iced up, and he didn't come fix it. I'm just saying.
He said he was having issues with the roads in College Station. Where were you at?
I'm a building doctor, not a road doctor.
Yeah, he says he's a facilities,
Oh, he didn't facilitate getting the roads fixed.
He said you didn't facilitate getting the roads fixed.
No, I was on a roof at 2 a.m. while it was snowing, facilitating, trying to get some heat.
Must have been one of those roofs that collapsed.
Was it a roof that collapsed?
No.
There
was though.
Hey, no, but you were having issues with your heating, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the
$2,000 trip fee, and
well, they show up on weekends.
Will you show up on weekends?
$2,000 trip fee, you bet your ass will.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, no, on that note, I think we can sign out of here and go do our thing.
I worked for 2 weeks straight.
He says he refuses to get his CDL because if he gets a CDL, that means they'll put him on a salt truck whenever the road's ice.
Well, it's probably the best place for him, let's be honest.
He said it'd be a good spot for you.
Nope.
Man, he's quitting on work already.
He is.
I got about all the qualifications I need right now. I got a forklift certified.
Ooh, it's forklift certified, ladies. You hear that one?
Oh, man.
But then
Man.
I went home and I was like, do I look taller? More handsome? Why?
Hey, look.
I'm certified now.
Look, you can sprinkle glitter on a turd. It's still just a turd.
Absolutely.
On that note, we'll sign out of here and do our thing.
Yes, sir.
So
see y'all later.